Proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. Manasseh Katz.
Did any of you notice something that seemed just a little bit off about the agenda? No, I'm not talking about the speech numbers. That was a technical error. There was something a little bit off, and maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't. I'm going to tell you all about it. Good evening, fellow Kemp Toastmasters. As much as anything else lately, I am a proofreader. No, that doesn't mean I need a 12-step program. We actually need proofreaders. We need a lot more proofreaders. A lot more. The proof is in the pudding without a comma. I put that comma in there to see if anybody would notice that what's that there? Oh, why didn't we catch that? Oops, there was a little error. And these are the kinds of things that proofreaders catch and proofreaders fix, and it makes the world a better place. Yes, fellow Toastmasters, I deliberately put that in. Sometimes commas, I find that they're added where they shouldn't be. And sometimes commas are missing where they should be. Now, sometimes there's a debate about that, the infamous Oxford comma. I'm against it. Most people I know seem to be for it. But even I would agree that there are times that that comma needs to be in there to make things clear. Other punctuation is important too. Comma seems to be the worst, most abused. But punctuation in general is important. And proofreaders help to fix that punctuation. Because when you're writing something, you don't always get it right. And you can look at it 10 times, 100 times, and still not get it right. And somebody else can take a fresh look at that piece of paper and say, what's that comma doing there? Sometimes that comma is a kamikaze, but I digress. But there's more to proofreading than just commas. There are spelling errors. There are simple grammatical errors. There are finding words that are doubled, words that seem to be missing, words that are out of sequence. And again, you read through something, you write it up, you type it up, and you read through it over and over, and everything seems wonderful, and you go to press. And if somebody would proofread it first, my goodness, what a difference it would make. I may be more attuned to the perils and the importance of improper punctuation and the importance of proofreading because I am a computer programmer. And computer programmers know that every single letter counts and every punctuation mark counts. And sometimes a computer will reject things right away because of your little mistake, but sometimes they'll let it through and it'll go through and you won't find out until a month later when, the budget printout is all wrong because of one little comma. But let me give you some real world examples. This is a postcard that was sent out by District 36, our very own Toastmasters district. All the officers should have received it. I'm not sure if the non-officers, the people who are not officers received it. And it's this nice, colorful thing to say, hey, here is the upcoming Toastmasters training, Winter TLI Toastmasters Leadership Institute, Learning Institute. And this is very important, and I think they decided everybody's getting everything by email, and they had already sent emails about this, but sometimes a piece of paper you can hold in your hand makes all the difference, and you can take that and stick it up on your refrigerator or your bulletin board. Well, guess what? They needed a proofreader. I looked at this and right away I spotted two problems. On the left, well-trained, it should have had a hyphen. On the right, write to contact and then an email address. It should have been write to or contact with a capital C, not write to contact. Little things that a proofreader would have caught. Somebody else spent a lot of time on graphic design putting all this together. But when they looking at it over and over and they finally said, okay, it's done, they missed some important things. For my synagogue, I have been the proofreader and the person who sends out the weekly newsletter. It's called the Shabbos Shorts for many, many, many years by email. And for a long time, I was the main proofreader. I had a cohort of others who would help, but I was the main one. And I'd catch all kinds of errors in times and in names and in dates and you name it. 3 years ago, I took over editing it. And guess what? I found that I am now making mistakes as the editor, the author, and it's up to my proofreaders to catch things that I was catching before. It's a truism. You cannot proofread your own stuff. It's just the way it is. But lest you think this just has to do with Toastmasters and with synagogues and other little volunteer organizations. No, no, no. The world at large needs proofreaders, and I will give you a real world example. November 24th, Montgomery County, Maryland, 1 million people were notified of new rules relating to the pandemic. And the one particular was very strange. It said, and I will read it exactly, face coverings must be worn outdoors and whenever coming into contact with individuals who are not members of their household, comma, such as being within 6 feet. Read on the surface of this legal document, whereas, all a bunch of legalese and then the actual instructions. So every word should count, every comma or missing comma should count. This seemed to be saying that anybody who goes outdoors for any reason, anywhere in Montgomery County, for any reason whatsoever, must wear a mask. Oh my goodness, there was an uproar. Very quickly, the county started issuing retractions and corrections. And next thing you know, the very next day, they rewrote it. And instead they said, persons leaving their residences shall wear a face covering when they are likely to come into contact with another person, such as being within 6 feet of another person for more than a fleeting time. Meaning, if you're in your own backyard, you don't need it by yourself, you don't need a mask. And if you pass somebody on the street and you don't stop to chat with them, you don't need a mask. And if you're biking or exercising in the park, you don't need a mask. A world of difference. They rewrote the whole phrase, this whole sentence, but all it would have taken is one little comma. So Toastmasters, let me just say, if commas can save lives, proofreaders can save the world. And the proof is in the pudding. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.